Ancient humans were almost never fat, and it wasn't because they exercised more than you do. That exercise idea is the part almost everyone gets wrong. You know the story. Our ancestors stayed lean because they spent all day hunting and foraging and walking it off, while we sit in chairs and go soft. Neat story. But when scientists actually went and measured it, it turned out to be mostly wrong. So what did keep ancient humans lean? Why did almost none of them ever get fat, and what changed? The short answer isn't the treadmill, it's the fork. And once that lands, the modern world stops looking like a place full of weak-willed people and starts looking like a trap built around a body made for a completely different world. Start with whether they were even lean, because we can actually check. A few human groups still live close to the old way, hunting and gathering, no supermarkets. The best studied are the Hadza in Tanzania. Among people living like that, obesity is basically non-existent. Their blood pressure stays low their whole lives instead of climbing with age. Type 2 diabetes, clogged arteries, the stuff that fills up modern hospitals. You barely find any of it. And these aren't people white-knuckling their way through some diet. They're just lean, the way almost every human was for almost all of human history. So the baseline is real. For hundreds of thousands of years, a fat person was a rare sight. But rare isn't never, and the exceptions are the interesting part. Storing fat was never a glitch. It's one of the best tricks the body ever came up with. A layer of fat is basically a battery, a way to carry a good season into a bad one. And people in harsh climates would fatten up on purpose when food was around, so they could get through the months when it wasn't. Then there are the Venus figurines, little carvings of heavy, full-figured women, some of them 25,000 years old. People love to hold these up as proof that Stone Age humans got fat. Maybe. But we honestly don't know if they were meant as realistic portraits, fertility symbols, or just idealized art, so don't lean too hard on them. The clearer evidence shows up later. Once farming arrived and a few people could sit on a big surplus of food for the first time, their bodies changed. Scan the mummies of Egypt's wealthy elite, and you find people who had clearly gotten heavy, arteries already hardening, heart disease thousands of years before the first drive-through. And that tells you the important thing. Getting fat was never really about the modern age. It came down to one thing: how much food you could get your hands on. Give any human body a big enough surplus, and it will store it. That isn't a modern weakness, it's ancient design. So if the equipment to get fat was always there, why did almost nobody, for almost all of history, actually use it? This is where the exercise story really falls apart. You'd figure a Hadza hunter walking miles a day has to burn way more than an office worker who barely stands up. A scientist named Herman Pontzer went and measured it. Not step counts, not guesses, but the actual total energy people burned in a day, using a method that tracks it through the water in your body. And the number threw people. Once you account for body size, the Hadza burn about the same amount of energy in a day as a desk worker in the West. Roughly the same. All that walking and digging and hunting, and the daily total barely moves. How? Because your body runs energy like a fixed budget, not an open tab. Push more activity in, and it quietly trims the spending somewhere else, dialing down background processes you never notice to keep the daily total inside a narrow band. Move more, and your body just spends less on everything you can't see it doing. Which flips the whole premise. You can't really out-exercise your way into a Stone Age body. And the Stone Age body wasn't lean because it out-exercised anything. The calories going out were never the difference. It was always the calories coming in. Which points straight at the food. And not just how much of it, but what kind. A researcher named Kevin Hall ran an experiment where he brought people into a lab and controlled every single thing they ate for weeks. 2 diets, the same people on both. On paper they matched. Same calories available, same sugar, fat, protein, fiber. The one difference was that one diet was built from ultra-processed food, the packaged, engineered stuff, and the other from whole, barely processed ingredients. People could eat as much or as little as they wanted. On the ultra-processed food, they ate about 500 calories more a day without even noticing, and put on weight. On the whole food version, the same people ate less and lost it. Same person, same willpower, same hunger, just handed a different plate. That's the real engine behind the modern epidemic. Food built, on purpose or not, to slip past the fullness signals your body has run on for ages. So you eat more before you ever feel full. Put those two things side by side, and it clicks. Your body is running software written for a world of scarcity. For nearly all of human history, sugar meant ripe fruit that lasted a few days. Fat meant a lucky kill. Salt was hard to come by. So your brain learned to chase exactly those flavors, hard, because chasing them is what kept your ancestors alive. That craving system was never the problem. It was a superpower. The problem is we took a body tuned to hunt down rare calories and dropped it into a world where those same calories are now the cheapest, most available, most heavily advertised things going. The urge that once sent you across a valley for a bit of honey now just sends you to a vending machine. Same wiring, whole different world. So, were ancient humans ever fat? Almost never. And the reason isn't the flattering one. They weren't lean because they had more discipline or because they burned so much more than we do. They were lean because they lived in a world where overeating was nearly impossible. Food was hard to get, plain when you got it, and gone when the season turned. We didn't lose their willpower, we lost their world. In a couple of centuries, we built something their bodies were never made to handle, and then we started blaming the bodies. Which leaves a strange thing to sit with. Next time you feel that pull towards something sweet you don't even need, notice what it actually is, not weakness. A Stone Age instinct doing its job perfectly, in a world that's learned to use it against you. You're an old creature in new clothes, carrying a body built for a fight that's already over. And that opens up a bigger question. How many other ancient instincts, built for a world that's gone, are quietly steering your life right now without ever letting on they're there? Your appetite is only the start. And that's exactly where we're going next.